This video is made for adult collectors because sharp and pointy things.
It worked! My time machine worked! I am a Stegosaurus!
I was fully ready to not like this figure. It looks overcomplicated and sharp and just like not fun. My friend Andrew, the one who creased his J's, he bought one of these at TFCon. Here's footage of him making said poor financial decision. And when we got back to Canada and he opened it up, he didn't like it at all. The transformation for him was not fun. He couldn't figure out the backpack, and I don't blame him. The instructions aren't great. But once mine came in and I took all the things he said to me into account when I transformed it, I really rather enjoyed it. I was told what sharp parts to avoid and how things were supposed to fit, and it makes the best dinosaur toy I've ever messed with. But I'll get to that in a little bit. This is Cang Toys Snarl, their first Volcanicus member, and it's a pretty banger first release for this set. Before I go any further though, sponsor time. This video was brought to you by TF Safari. They have a wide range of third-party and knockoff products. They got this guy for $155, and it definitely feels like $155. I've also got Unique Toys Dino on the way from them, so stay tuned for that. But they carry a wide range of really cool things for relatively good prices. They've even got a flash sale section, so I'd definitely go check them out, link below. And if you use code THATTOYGUYSPECIAL, 3% off. Yeah, I know. You save a few dollars off your order, which is always nice. So thank you very much for sponsoring this video. Now back to the actual toy. Bro looks like an actual warrior. Like the way he's built just standing there, it's impressive. The fit, the finish on all the parts is super well done. There aren't a lot of sculpted lines, but there is a lot of part separation, making those details feel more real because, well, they are real. He isn't a boring looker, that's for sure. Everything is solid, looks solid, and feels solid. The plastic is nice and dense. Nothing really feels like it's gonna be flaky or weird, and the paint durability matches that. The joints can be a bit weird, especially the shoulders working in such a strange way that the feeling like you might break them, but you won't. They're strong enough that they won't snap. They just feel strange. I love the head sculpt. The light piping on the horn is sick. And it's such a departure from Snarl, it's insane. He comes with two massive swords that can split into smaller blades and into big guns. They also combine to form the tip of the combined sword, which this is going to be huge if this is the tip of the combined sword. He also has this pointy thing. It's an arrowhead, because you could take it, plug it into the tail, and use it as a bow, which is very heavy and you can't actually support the weight of it, which is a little annoying. But the bow looks sick. It also becomes a spiky whip, so you can watch out, I guess. After taking the tail off and putting it back on, he's just flipping me the bird. Anyways, the articulation, oh, I bumped the camera. Articulation on this guy is plentiful, but slightly weird. So the head is on a very nice ball joint. He can look up and down. He's got like an extra hinge here as well. He can tilt side to side. He can look left and right. He can do all that sort of stuff. The shoulders are strange, so they do peg in to the body. They do come out slightly, I believe, for foot mode, but they go in and out. On ratchets that lag, it's hard to describe, but they lag. You listen, I'll pull the arm up and then you'll hear it click. You hear that? That's a long way between clicks. And then you have the forward and back motion, which you can rotate this out of the way to allow for forward and back, which rotates here on the outside of the shoulder joint. So essentially they're trigger happy hot rod shoulders are just weird. Ah! You do have bicep rotation. You have double jointed, I believe that's a die cast elbow bend, which is nice. The joints are die cast, and like all the essential components that need to be die cast are die cast. It's not just unnecessarily slapped on wherever, which I do appreciate. You do have wrist swivel, wrists do hinge, and then the fingers are individually articulated and they can splay. He does have a wide range of torso articulation. Shift left and right, can shift forward, can't really shift back, and you do have a waist joint as well. It can go all the way. The hip skirts are slightly strange. So these ones go forward about that far, and then they start to do that, which is a bit weird from the front. However, they also shift inwards to get out of the way, and that looks a little bit better. And then these can go out. They have a second hinge here, but that's more for, I believe, combined mode. And then you can move them out like this and up like that. So if you really need to get them out of the way, you can really get them out of the way to accommodate the legs, which go forward that far, go back that far. They're on such nice ratchets. And they go out on not a nice sounding ratchet. Like that's a normal ratchet, but that sounds awesome. You do have thigh rotation. You have double jointed knees that bend about that far. But because the knees are so high up, they kind of don't accomplish much, which is a little annoying. And then the ankles, they have a double hinge basically down here, so they can go forward, they can go back, they can tilt. Oh, this one's stiff. I don't know why I picked this one to show you. And then the heels and the toes can pivot for even more articulation. And the toes can go forward ever so slightly. So like, he is very, very, very posable. He can do pretty much anything you'd want him to do. All of these also move. You can rotate these down if you like the way that that looks or whatnot. You just have to be careful because these are sharp, these are sharp, these are sharp, and these are sharp. This is sharp. So yeah, I really like the way this looks and feels mostly. Just stop making things so sharp. So the transformation seems extremely daunting and intimidating at first. And it is, I'm not gonna lie. It's very difficult to figure out when you first get it. I'm way too far on the right side of your ear. But there are easy ways to do things, so I'm gonna show you that. To start with, I highly recommend removing the tail. You do not have to parts form it, but it makes life a whole lot easier if you just take this. And, well, first you gotta unlock it from the back. And then just, bloop, take it off and put it to the side. And forget about it for now. That makes life a whole lot easier. Also, if you like the way that looks, you can just take it off and it looks fine. So we're gonna start by doing the arms because the arms are the easiest part. So you wanna ball up the, ball up. You wanna make the fists a ball. Ball up means something completely different. Then you fold this in like that, close that up, bring that out, and that's it, you're done. See, that's super easy. So we're gonna take this, roll up the fist, bring that up, straighten the arm out, open it up, make sure the fingers are all closed first before you throw the fist in there, close it up, and then bring out the foot. Yay, we're basically done those for now. We'll leave them here. The next thing we're gonna wanna do is get the backpack all unfolded. So it does, like, the instructions are really difficult and vague on how you're supposed to peg it together. I found that these little bits sit in these gaps here and hold the whole thing in place. Like, I can hold it from the backpack, it's not coming out. So you can do that, but we're gonna unpeg those. Also, when this guy comes packaged, these spines are sticking out. They're supposed to go inside. And then you just wanna take this whole section, unfold it, and unpeg these from these sections right here and bring them out and around like that, just to get them out of the way. So you do that on both sides, like so. Now they're out of the way. Now you want to take this whole section right here and unpeg the head. It's pegged in right here. So you just take it. It's a very stiff peg. I had to sand it down a little bit, but you just sort of jiggle it out and you bring this all down. Now we're going to take the head and fold it in. This part's difficult because of the horn. You gotta fold this gold section out first. That is important. Otherwise the head's cavity is filled. So you just take it, sort of straighten all these hinges out here. This part's a little difficult to get figured out. It's also really difficult up here. There we go. Just push it. Out it comes. Rotate this 180 degrees. Flick it off to the side. Now the head. You take the horn and you gotta push it past that little block right there. So you bring it down and then you just sort of mess with the hinges until, boom, it comes out this way. So now, take the head of the dinosaur, bring it out, and then you need to, there's this panel right here that needs to fold out. But it's really difficult to get your finger in there, so I just take a little thing and boom, there it is, his throat. You need his throat to come out. And then you can fold up these little spines here and close that up. Now we take this entire top section and unpeg it first from the middle. Remember to do that. And then you can rotate this whole thing up 90 degrees and then these come back and just fill in these spots here. Now you want to take your finger, put it in here and push this section out. So bring this out like that. Unfold this section like so. And it'll peg in right there. Bring it down, peg it in like so. So the legs are pretty interesting actually. They do a lot of neat flips. I actually like, so the first thing you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna unpeg this side section right here and then take the entire leg section and push it, and you want to feed it out. And there are 2 tabs that need to feed through these little gaps on the side. So we're going to push it. I can see them. Here it comes. Boom, there it goes. A little bit difficult to figure out when you first get it, but there's the little tabs, and they got to slide through those little gaps right there. But once you do that, you swing this around, basically bring that out. You fold this section in on itself till it goes down like that. Then you want to open up these side sections right here, like that. And then the whole entire assembly is going to be difficult for you to see. There we go. Is going to rotate 180 degrees. Make sure the hip skirt is inside, and this will collapse onto itself like so. And then the hip skirt will peg into the leg on the inside. There we go, like that. Then you close these panels up, bring this section up and around like that, and it will peg in to the back here. You make sure everything's lined up. There we go. And then you just basically unfold the Stegosaurus leg like that. Rotate this section around, and it will tab in. Bring this around, shift it down. And that's the back of the Stegosaurus. I'm going to do the other one off camera because I really don't want to waste your time. So, bloop. So these hinges right here need to compress down. Oops. So we'll get that all compressed like so. Get the neck re-pegged back in. Normally it doesn't unpeg, it just does it. But you know what? The camera's on, so it's going to do that. Now, this part is probably the trickiest part. So you want to get the camera up so people can see what you're doing. You want to get these 2 bits flipped out like that. They are going to peg into slots here, and then these bits are going to peg into these what look like air intakes on his knees. They're made out of die cast. So you take this whole entire assembly and you sort of collapse it down on the triple hinge so that it's oh god, I figured it out. I had the triple hinge the wrong way, but now it pegs in. So once you have all that pegged together, once that's all set and done, now all we got to do is this. You bring these out, you rotate them, fold them this way, fold this peg out, bring this around like that so it sits like that. Do that on this side as well. Boom. Boom. There we go. And then these will simply just sort of come down on here, and they will peg into the shoulders right there. So let's get that all situated. You just sort of peg it in, bring this section up, peg these in, and you literally just close the tail up and peg every single segment together. I can't speak English today. Like that. And come on. Come on. Bing, bang, boom. Then you shift this panel up like that on both sides. There we go. You slide it right back into the same channel it was in robot mode. Because again, you don't have parts for it. And there you have Stegosaurus. Now that is a Stegosaurus. I am a Stegosaurus. Like, it looks badass. It's so cool. I love how most of the gold ends up on top of the dinosaur and it kind of fades down into the silver. The decals shine even more in this mode and the bits of red really pop. The build of it's pretty good too. Yeah, it's a bit of a struggle to get everything tabbed in, but once you get it tabbed in, nothing's coming apart. I love the head sculpt. It's very Stego beak looking. And the spines, yeah, they're still sharp, but they look awesome and can be posed however you want. The arms and legs have a bunch of joints too, but the articulation on the tail, that's the highlight for me. This feels like an SH Monster Arts / Haya Toys type tail, but on a transforming toy. It can do pretty much anything you want with only 5 segments. It's great. Like, the range is incredible. Like, this thing is so cool. It makes me super excited for the others. Granted, I don't know how they're gonna transform or feel, but you know, we'll wait to see when they come out. I haven't tried leg mode on this yet. I'm saving that for the combined mode video, but as a standalone toy, 150 I feel is definitely worth it. Again, linked below. I've heard the leg mode is very, very complicated and I haven't tried it yet, so there's that, but I'm gonna wait till we get to the combined mode portion to do all that. But that's my look at Cang Toy Snarl. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.